Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. So the latest of the films that didn't get wide release in theaters, didn't make much money, or found their way on the internet, the latest of these is An Acceptable Loss. This made about 32 grand in 25 theaters. This is directed by Joe Chappelle, who after 15 years of doing television work, has come back. He previously directed Halloween 6 and Phantoms, yes, two horrifically bad films, although at least Phantoms is a guilty pleasure of mine. This wants to be an urgent B-movie that has a really great cast, in which it tells a very heartbreaking story about the cynical view of America's Middle East policy, in which Tika Sumpter plays Elizabeth Lamb. She was a national security advisor to the Vice President Burke, played by balls to the wall, take no prisoners, Jamie Lee Curtis, and one of her performances that I just think, wow, how could she be doing this? These two people were advocating a missile strike in Syria in the city of Homs. Now apparently 5 heads of terrorist organizations were going to be in this city at the same time, including one who was a rogue Iran nuclear scientist. So they figure, okay, let's grab all these people in one stroke. Therefore we can say to ourselves, yes, don't fuck with us anymore. And therefore also American exceptionalism will no longer be on the decline. If that makes a whole lot of sense, wow. Now clearly after all this, the Tika Sumpter character is like, I have to go away, I can't deal with this anymore. Apparently Vice President Burke eventually gets elected president. By the time we catch up with the film, she's running for re-election, and she wants to know, by basically sending out a couple of government agents, is the Tika Sumpter character on the same page nationally. The Elizabeth Lamb character now, when we meet her, is accepted a teaching position at a local college. Now this is probably the one thing that I don't remotely buy, is that a person like the Tika Sumpter character with her credentials is not going to wind up working at a local college, apparently doubling for Northwestern. Now, no, she'd be accepted to a right-wing think tank. That's where she would land up. Now when she gets to the school, she's greeted by protests. Now apparently she's greeted by protests everywhere she goes because she allowed the strike to happen. She basically sleeps at night with a gun in her bed because that's how it is. And there's also this student named Martin who's stalking her. I immediately figured out within the first 5 minutes who Martin was, so there was no surprise. Clearly, the faculty doesn't know how to greet Elizabeth. Apparently she doesn't have a cell phone. She doesn't have email. She wants hard copies for all the emails. And apparently at one cocktail party, some guy drunk asked her, hey, how many dead was it basically? And that clearly is upsetting to her because clearly, yes, in a missile strike like this, children are going to be involved. Now, this film had a premiere at the Virginia Film Festival. People who saw this, and now apparently Joe Chappelle was also at this screening at the film festival. He spoke afterwards. I didn't attend the film. I wish I had. They said, oh yeah, it's good, but not particularly great. Yeah, I'm in perfect agreement with some interesting ideas here about how far are you willing to cross the line, what happens if you do go over that line, can you come back from it, and how basically she's writing down notes here, and she wants to eventually publish this paper. She said she also has a father played by Clark Peters, well I guess eventually she wants to show all this paper to. And my biggest problem is the last 30 minutes. This film goes on autopilot mode with Martin and Elizabeth both going on the lam. But within this last 30 minutes, there's one great scene in which basically the President Burke and the Tika Sumpter character confront each other. And she basically says, I had all my plans figured out for you. You're going to be Secretary of State. And she is like, I made my bed. How, I have to live with the decisions I make. And clearly the Vice President was like, yes, I'm advocating for that position, but I don't let it get to me, basically. This movie ends in a predictable way, and is it a surprise how it ends? No. If you've seen government conspiracies like this before, you know how they end. So anyhow, folks, what I'm going to say about An Acceptable Loss, I'm going to give this a ranking a subsequent weekend, because there are some stuff in here that is quite good. Is it over the hump enough that I can uniformly recommend? No, but I still suggest you try to find it. So folks, An Acceptable Loss, have you seen this? What did you think? As always folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time folks. Yes, hooray.